The Real McMafia. Truth is often stranger than fiction. While Parliament considers what action the government should take to tackle the proceeds of Kremlin-connected corruption funneled into the UK, the people linked to the Russian criminal organizations are making themselves comfortable in London. Their children attend the poshest British schools, and their henchmen run British security companies. Money obtained from illicit activities, and even money stolen from British businesses in Russia, is being laundered through London's financial system, while the government does nothing to stop it. Welcome to the terrifying world of the Real McMafia. Meet Alexander Shukin, the Russian coal oligarch with extensive interests in Britain. Although he tries to be low profile in the UK, he is quite famous in Russia. Shukin managed to literally steal a coal company from a British private equity firm. And then he not only got away with it, but also managed to invest the ill-gotten gains in Britain. Here is a snippet from a Guardian article on Shukin from 2015. A British private equity firm is battling for the return of a £250 million mine in Russia it believes was transferred illegally to a company linked to a Siberian billionaire. The case, filed in the commercial court in Kemerovo, the administrative center of Russia's coal belt, comes after a director of the UK firm was sent to prison, where it is claimed he signed over the Gramotienskaya coal mine and railway complex to avoid years behind bars. In 2015, Mr. Shukin, also known as the Godfather of Siberia, was successful in avoiding prosecution in Russia, and he used the same method of business expansion again in 2016 to gain control of the Inskoye coal mine. He then used the proceeds to establish a thriving international business empire with operations in the UK, Cyprus, and Canada. Close relatives and friends of the Godfather of Siberia managed to gain British citizenship and buy an international security company, 3E International, that operates in Britain and across continental Europe. On its website, the company proudly states the 3E International team is drawn from government, intelligence, and specialist military backgrounds, all of whom have trained and operated to the highest echelons within the UK and worldwide. Officially, a nominal shareholding company owns the company, but according to a decision of the UK High Court of Justice in Fern Advisors Limited versus Burford, the company itself is actually owned and controlled by Ildar Uzbekov, the son-in-law of Alexander Shukin. According to The Guardian, the Shukin family has numerous other business properties and assets in Britain. The billionaire's daughter Elena is an art dealer with a £3 million gallery in Mayfair and a £15 million 4-floor, 6-bedroom mansion in a private road in Highgate. Her husband, Ildar Uzbekov, has a clutch of directorships in Britain and recently bought the UK's largest ethical energy broker. It looks like Ildar Uzbekov and his partner, Dmitry Tsvitkov, both British citizens, are operating an informal retirement fund for the real Russian McMafia in Britain. Despite the fact that Alexander Shukin was arrested in 2016 and is awaiting trial in Russia, his relatives and partners in Britain are doing just fine. Let that sink in. Two Russian nationals, who use a Cypriot offshore company to control a Russian coal mine illegally, taken from a British fund, were given British passports by the UK government. Not jail time, but British passports. It is surprising that these two Russian nationals, with obvious links to the Russian criminal elite, are not British inmates. They are now considered upstanding British businessmen running successful international businesses. Dmitry Tsvitkov, the money manager of this criminal enterprise, is able to use his British passport and his British companies as a marketing tool. Here he is, meeting with the president of Cyprus, Nikos Anastasiadis, and the CEO of Graph Diamonds in Nicosia, Cyprus. Tsvitkov, who boasts that the Russian Prime Minister, Dmitry Medvedev, was his law professor at St. Petersburg State University, has made a fortune from his ties with Russian companies interested in taking money out of Russia. His company, Equix Group, works as an EU front for a number of Russian businessmen who prefer to remain in the shadows. He also owns or provides services to a number of successful Cypriot brands and companies, which can be used for either money laundering or investment of the Russian blood money. Sadly, both the UK government and the government of Cyprus are unwilling to conduct a proper investigation into the dealings of Tsvitkov and Uzbekov. The sheer size of the informal pension fund run by Svitkov and Uzbyakov for the criminal Russian oligarchs is staggering. In 2014, Adrian Burford, a former UK Foreign Office official, testified under oath before the UK High Court that Uzbyakov and the Shukin family planned to transfer over £1 billion out of Russia through Cyprus and ultimately invest the money in the UK. That's only one client of the informal McMafia pension fund. It is likely that there are many more clients like the Shukin family. Uzbyakov's father, Fuad Uzbyakov, was a high-ranking official of the state-owned Kazmunay Gas Company of Kazakhstan. Kazmunay Gas is the poster child of post-Soviet corruption and one of the biggest partners of the Russian energy giant Gazprom. Fuad Uzbyakov is quite famous in the former USSR because the Russian press believes that he provides financial services for state officials and corrupt businessmen who are looking to get their dirty money out of Russia or Kazakhstan. Given the dealings of his son, it is safe to assume that the dirty money is ultimately invested in Britain. In 2017, the Gramatienskaya coal mine paid £106 million in dividends to Uzbyakov's offshore company in Cyprus. Ironically, the dividends paid by the company, stolen by Uzbyakov's father-in-law, are now used to fund a lavish lifestyle in Britain for Uzbyakov and his family. Several months ago, Liram Capital Investments, the British fund that was robbed by Shukin and Uzbyakov, appealed to the Russian authorities to compensate for losses to the amount of £350 million for the loss of the coal asset, threatening to seek redress in international arbitration. It is unlikely that the British fund will find justice in the Russian courts, but there is still hope that justice can be served in Britain. Members of the Real McMafia should get jail time, but not British passports.